Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Florida residents under warning as Hurricane Idalia heads their way. And in Houston, a Pearland man frustrated over the lack of police response regarding his stolen Tesla. And free breast cancer screenings offered earlier today in downtown Victoria.
We actually had a few little showers roll around the area. There's the city. We sort of missed all of it, but it is going southward. It didn't cool us down, though. We got up to 105 today. We'll have more in your forecast coming up.
And week one of the Texas high school football season was filled with upsets and dominant performances. We reflect on week one in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Karina Garcia. Don Brubaker has the night off. Just before 5:30 p.m. this evening, two vehicles were involved in a crash on Glasgow and Navarro. Both of the drivers were minors and were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Traffic was delayed for 30 minutes as authorities assisted the scene. A large police response was underway at UNC Chapel Hill today after shots were fired on campus. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Police Department released this photo of a man they are calling a person of interest related to today's campus-wide security alert concerning an armed and dangerous person. The man's name or relationship to the university has not been released by the police, but students are now telling their story on what they experienced during the shots fired.
So I actually was going to class as normal in genome science. So I was there walking outside around like 1:10. I came in and I went to the bathroom before I was going to class, and then people started coming in the bathroom and they were like, there's an active shooter on campus. So immediately we all just stayed hiding in the stalls, squatting on the toilets, just scared. We didn't know what was happening.
An all-clear message was published by campus officials shortly after 4 p.m. Now a news conference is expected later this evening. Mark Meadows was back on the witness stand in Atlanta Monday. The former Trump White House chief of staff is being questioned by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office about Trump's 2021 call with Georgia's Secretary of State. That's the infamous call included in the Fulton County indictment, where the now former president asked the Secretary of State to find enough votes for Trump to win Georgia. Prosecutors repeatedly highlighted that Meadows included outside people who were not federal employees on that call. Meadows said multiple times that he could not recall all of the outreach he did to set up the call. Meadows filed to move the case from Georgia State Court to federal court, and Trump is expected to file a similar motion. And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis, who tells us hot air is headed our way.
Well, yes, the temperatures are rather warm, but you'd think with the north wind things would be a little different. Do have a little cloud cover around the area, but that didn't obscure the temperatures. I mean, our current temperature is 102, and believe it or not, we got up to 105 this afternoon. Not a record, but we're getting tired of this. What about the rest of the week, and what about Idalia? We'll have all the latest coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. We turn now to Florida's Gulf Coast, where tropical storm Idalia is forecast to strengthen to a Category 3 hurricane by the time it makes landfall later this week.
Preps are underway in Florida as Idalia churns toward the state's Gulf Coast, rapidly strengthening and expected to make landfall as a major storm.
Wind and surge could be significant, 6 to 11 feet, and heavy rain as well.
With that storm surge likely, people in Tampa stocking up on sandbags.
We're college students, so we're just trying to prepare as best as we can.
Forecasters warn Idalia could also generate tornadoes.
It's better to be prepared versus not prepared and have regrets.
Duke Energy mobilizing about 4,500 workers to respond to potential power outages. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis getting a pledge of federal support from the White House after declaring a state of emergency for more than 30 counties, about half the state.
Floridians in the path of this storm, though, should be prepared to lose power, particularly if it ends up in a Big Bend major impact. There's a lot of trees. You're going to have a lot of power lines down.
Tampa International Airport shutting down at midnight, with forecasters expecting Idalia to make landfall Wednesday morning.
Everybody on the Florida Gulf Coast, just watch and be prepared and take the necessary action to protect you and your family.
After hitting Florida, Idalia is also expected to bring heavy rain and a chance of flash flooding in southern Georgia and the Carolinas before leaving the East Coast on Thursday. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
A North Texas man is building crosses for the victims in the Dollar General shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. Roberto Marquez built 3 crosses to remember those who were lost when a gunman opened fire at the store over the weekend.
I do it out of, something that is more within me, that makes me feel good. I don't expect anything in return. If it helps, as it is helping, these people that are in pain, they need to know that people are behind them.
Over the last few years, he has also built crosses in Ukraine and Uvalde. He says he does it in hopes of helping others heal from the tragedies. A Pearland man knows where his stolen Tesla is, but says he can't get any help retrieving it. The man, Alberto Molina, says the Tesla app shows the vehicle driving around Houston, but there's little police can do.
Albert Molina can see his car, but he can't get to it.
It's so crappy. I can see everything happening. I can see where it's driving, but I can't do anything about it.
It was stolen from this Tesla service center off Westheimer sometime between last Friday night and Saturday morning. He's been able to track its movements ever since thanks to the app.
It was actually driving around Houston.
Monday, he was able to put a stop to that, remotely disabling the car. It sat here in the parking lot of the Ponte Alba Apartments off Bissonnette ever since.
The cops actually told me, do not go to the place. Do not drive up to where the car is right now, so don't go there.
What he doesn't understand is why they haven't gone to get it themselves.
There should be an effort. It's like they're not taking me seriously.
ABC 13 visited the complex Saturday, about 7 days after the car was stolen. It still sits in the lot, driver's side window smashed.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because I know that Tesla knows it, I know that the cops know it, but what are they doing?
In West Houston, Shannon Ryan, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
The University of Texas Health Houston program brought its Rose Mobile screenings to downtown Victoria Monday. The program is aimed at expanding access to women who are 40 years or older needing a breast cancer screening that they would not be able to receive otherwise.
Getting a mammogram for them is an opportunity to find something in time when you can actually get treatment successfully and be a cancer survivor. So that is our goal, to extend life and quality of life.
You can get screened for breast cancer at a clinic, hospital, or doctor's office. To learn more about the Rose Mobile screenings, come to crossroadstoday.com. And here is your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you get regular cancer screenings, yes or no? According to these results, 57 or 56% say yes and 44% say no. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News now at 10. Now, the proposed budget for the city of Victoria for the fiscal year of 2024 includes $97.6 million for capital improvement projects like the new public safety headquarters. The city is recommending a property tax rate of 0.4898 cents per $100 property valuation, a decrease of 0.0684 cents for 13% from last year's tax rate. Tomorrow, there's a public hearing and vote on the budget and tax rate. A final public hearing and final vote is set for September 5th. The city council meeting starts at 5 p.m. at 105 West Juan Lynn Street. Now, this oversized load made its way out of the Coleto power plant this morning. It's an electrical infrastructure component. It went south on Highway 59 to Fannin, into Goliad, north on Highway 183, and on Highway 119 into Yorktown. Drivers were warned ahead on time on social media, but it still took several hours to make that trip. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, we head to Florida where we learn more about that racially motivated shooting in Jacksonville. Also ahead in South Carolina, a university student shot and killed after entering the wrong home. On that racially motivated shooting in Jacksonville, Florida, the community coming together to remember the 3 people killed as we learn more about the suspected gunman.
A growing memorial outside this Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida, after police say a self-proclaimed white supremacist using an AR-15 style rifle and handgun opened fire, killing 3 black people.
I urge us all not to look for sense in a senseless act of violence.
The suspect, identified by police as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmetter, firing off 11 rounds, hitting 52-year-old Angela Michelle Carr's Kia while she sat in a parking lot, killing her. Authorities say he then walked in, shooting and killing 19-year-old employee Anolt Joseph Laguerre Jr. and 29-year-old Gerald Gallion, the father of a 4-year-old girl.
She's so young, and all she knew was her dad.
The gunman texted his dad to go into his room, where police say he found a last will and testament and suicide note. The family calling police, but the rampage was over after about 10 minutes. The shooter taking his own life as officers arrived on scene. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's a leading candidate for president, was booed by residents in Jacksonville as he spoke about the shootings.
Florida stands with the community. Help is on the way.
Some saying his policies and rhetoric attacking diversity in the state are in part to blame for creating an atmosphere of intolerance.
Respectfully, Governor, he was not a scumbag. He was a racist.
Investigators say Palmetter was involuntarily held for 72 hours at a mental health facility as a minor in 2017, but that he had no prior criminal history and legally purchased his weapons. Authorities say he had writings containing racist and hateful ideology. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
A University of South Carolina student from Connecticut was shot and killed as he tried to enter the wrong home in Columbia early Saturday morning. The Columbia Police Department is investigating the incident, which was reported around 2 a.m. Saturday. Now, according to reports, the victim attempted to enter the wrong home when he was shot to death. The victim, identified as Nicholas Anthony Donfrio. According to the university, he was a sophomore at the school. Police in Dallas executing warrants in an ongoing animal cruelty investigation when they found a tiger in an outdoor enclosure on a residential property.
At this Dallas home off Johnson Lane in Oak Cliff, police executing a search warrant Friday, finding a full-grown caged tiger, as well as dogs, roosters, and chickens.
What are you doing, Karma? Where's your hubby?
While this may seem rare, the founder of InSync Exotics in Wiley says it happens more than you'd think.
I mean, we have 3 tigers here right now that were seized from private property. Minnie is one of them. We've been called for a jaguar, and we get calls all the time.
Vicki Cahey says while it's illegal to own, breed, and sell these animals in most big Texas cities like Dallas, unfortunately, that doesn't stop people.
A lot of people want that feeling of being able to say that they have this powerful animal. It saddens me a lot that people, don't respect the animals.
She says they're often found in poor condition.
They're being fed like canned dog food or canned cat food, and that is not a good diet for them at all.
This wildlife rescue and sanctuary is trained to nurse these animals back to shape. We're told recovery normally takes anywhere from about 4 to 8 months. Since most of these animals are born in captivity, they can't be released back into the wild. Cahey says she provides as comfortable an environment as possible.
The people that breed them and sell them illegally put them in a cage. All I'm doing is trying to clean up their mess.
As for the tiger found in Oak Cliff, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Office of Law Enforcement and Texas Parks and Wildlife are assisting in the investigation. Charges are pending. In Wiley, Aaron Jones, CBS News, Texas.
The Dallas Zoo and Dallas Animal Services are also helping out with the investigation.
Coming up, we'll be taking a much closer look at what's going to happen in Florida with Idalia. We'll also talk about our weather as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, good Monday, everyone. We had a few little clouds roll around the area, but I don't think that we got any of those showers here in Victoria County, but some people around the area did get some. Our current temperature 102, and it's really amazing to me. We've got a north wind blowing at 16 miles an hour. What do you think? North wind should be a cool wind, right? But we're going to be on the backside of that hurricane, and we're going to get a hot, dry wind, not anything that looks like a hurricane. We got up to 105 today, right at about 4 o'clock with that north wind, but it's dry. As a matter of fact, with dry air, the temperature does tend to rise, but we're also going to be losing temperature at night, so we actually may get into the low 70s. We haven't seen that in a while. Here is Victoria. See it right about there. You see how the shower activity sort of wandered around us. You know, it looks like Cuero and DeWitt County got much better rain. So did Goliad right about there. All headed down toward the Beeville area, and maybe Refugio will get some of that as well. Notice that it's all traveling south. That's because the upper winds are going sort of in this fashion, and that's bringing that warm, dry air over our region. These are the highs today. You can see well into the triple digits, while tomorrow we're going to be at about triple digits, but looks like North Texas will be out of triple digits. That's like a big deal nowadays, you know, when you're not in triple digits. But let's take a look at how Idalia will be affecting everybody. Now, right now, it's a tropical storm right off the coast of the Yucatan. But all the computer models are in very good agreement that it will continue tracking north, strengthen up to a Category 3 right about there over the Gulf waters that are very warm. And then as it starts moving ashore, will weaken from a 3 down to a 1. So it's going to strike as a hurricane. And so places like Tampa Bay all the way up to Apalachicola are really under the gun for this storm tomorrow night. Now, if you know anybody there, they either should be evacuating or preparing to move to higher ground, because this is going to be a big one. Of course, several things. A, it's moving slowly. B, it's pumping up moisture. It's going to be causing a big storm surge. And you know what? They don't have the barrier islands that we have. I saw it in Harvey that the barrier islands really do protect us somewhat, not completely though, but hurricane watches and warnings are all the way up from Apalachicola down south. And I believe Tampa Bay is really going to be the bullseye. It's the biggest city, and of course the water's going to go north into all those back bays, so they better start moving on that right now. High pressure is actually to the west. That's the big dome. It's going to be moving a little bit over to the northeast of us, but this is the interesting part. The storm center, Idalia, is going this way, high pressure this way, so we're getting a northeast wind that's going to make it hot and dry. So no tropical activity for us. Tomorrow we'll be looking at 97 with a northeast wind blowing throughout all of the area. 98 in Cuero. Will be on the hot side right on through the weekend, and it's going to be drying up. So the heat index actually is going to be somewhat lower, but not much. And we don't see that Gulf moisture rolling back in till about this coming weekend. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. We see where the top-ranked teams in the area stand after week 1. That and more after the break. At Crossroads, week 1 of the Texas high school football season is in the books, and week 2 looks to bring more excitement than the last. Here are the latest rankings. The Refugio Bobcats had a tough matchup against a bigger school in the Hitchcock Bulldogs. Refugio had a tight hold on the game, but it looked as if fatigue set in, and the Bulldogs came back and took the lead in the final minutes of the game. Final score 46-43 Bulldogs. Refugio was the top-ranked team in the state to start the year, but now are number 2, just behind the Timpson Bears, which won 50-13. The Bobcats are taking on another Class 3A school in the London Pirates. Unlike Hitchcock, the Pirates are not ranked in the state. The game will be played in Refugio on Friday night. The Shiner Comanches are in a similar position that they were in last year. They lose game 1 against the Hallettsville Brahmas, but this time it was a slaughter. Hallettsville handed Shiner its first loss of the season, 41-8 in the Shiner country. With this loss, Shiner is knocked out of the top 10 and out of the rankings after being ranked number 9 to start the year. This upcoming game is a candidate for the game of the week, and that game features 2 Crossroads area teams, the Comanches, which will face off against another bigger school in the Industrial Cobras. The Cobras are also coming off a loss to the Yoakum Bulldogs. The Cobras are hosting the Comanches in its home opener, and after week 1 of this year, there could be a 0-2 start for the first time for both of these schools in recent memory. The first area team to make a jump up the ladder instead of down it are the Tidehaven Tigers. The Tigers jumped up the board with a win over Goliad and once-ranked Harmony Eagles to lose and drop out of the top 3. The Tigers shut out Goliad 30-0. Now in week 2, the former state semifinalists will play the Oldham Owls. The Owls are also 1-0, coming off a win over Karnes City 18-7. The Tigers are hosting its second home game of the year and looking to go 2-0. Next up is our other potential game of the week. The Edna Cowboys stand pat at number 3 in the state, coming off a victory over East Bernard Brahmas, winning 41-27. Now the boys in blue are going to have its biggest test of the year up to this point against the number 8 ranked Bay City Blackcats. This game will be played in Edna and should be a good one. The Quail Gobblers stand strong at number 4 in the state after a dominating win over the then-ranked El Campo Ricebirds, which are not ranked anymore. Quail dominated all aspects of the game and only allowed 1 touchdown in the third quarter, but went on to win 41-7. In week 2, the Green and White travel up to Geronimo Navarro to take on its rivals, the Panthers. Navarro beat Navasota 34-8. These two teams know each other well, playing each other 8 times in the past 5 years, with the Gobblers coming out on top with a 5-3 record against the Panthers. And also, don't forget to take a vote on which team you think should be the game of the week. The 2 games are the Edna Cowboys hosting the Bay City Blackcats or the Shiner Comanches heading down to Industrial to take on the Cobras. And currently that is at 70-30 with Edna winning. Well, you can vote at our crossroadstoday.com page/sports. Well, that's your sports, or Karina, back to you.
Just me today. We're back in a moment. National Lemon Juice Day is tomorrow, and we have the juicy details straight ahead. lemons, make some juice. Tuesday, tomorrow, is National Lemon Juice Day. August 29th is the perfect day for a refreshing squeeze of lemonade, or you can do it into your cooking. The acid in lemons can enhance the flavor in salads, sauces, or beverages, but you already knew that. Also, maybe a visit to the bakery to grab a lemon bar or muffin. Also, fun fact, lemons have been around for millions of years. The sour fruit originated in the Himalayan mountains, but now they're grown in temperate climates. And so I guess lemonade is the perfect thing to use now, to drink now with this heat.
Yeah, it's really good in a rum and Coke too.
Oh my goodness.
It's completely, chemistry changes everything. Anyway, yes, it's a good time for a lemonade. You know, the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Yeah, because the temperatures, I just can't believe it. We just got back to the triple digits. We're going to get a north dry wind for the next couple of days. That's going to keep us in the hundreds, even though you're going to say, why is the wind out of the north? And really, we're on the backside of that hurricane on the east coast. So we're going to get the dry side. They're going to get the big wet side. In terms of Idalia, it's tomorrow night. It blows into the Big Bend of Florida. If you've got family up in Tampa City, Tampa Bay, really need to get ready for that storm.
That's right. Our thoughts are with them out there. And thank you for joining us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.